Hi everybody, so today is day 17 of the 30-day video challenge, and yesterday I touched into the concept of going on and on and on and on and on, the cycle of existence and soul growth and integration back into the whole and moving into another octave. Um, One concept that we typically that many of us find comfort in and believe is true is the perception of multiple lives. Now, it's not the Judeo Christian concept that's accepted in that, but for those of us who have kind of uh, expounded, found another path and another understanding of the universe, we generally accept that there's multiple lives. So we have lived multiple lives. We're going to still live multiple lives. Uh, the I that is me, uh, have experienced many lives and shall continue to experience many lives at whatever level, whatever density I happen to ascend to. And previously other densities as the development occurred. But one of the things that does also happen is that we begin the emergence, we begin the conscious collective gathering of individualism to a collectiveness. And that's really kind of the what I see as the fight that's happening in the now, in today. And I also have touched on this possibility in previous conversations. And one of the things that I had stated is that my particular desire is to reach the me and you, to see the you and me, so that we can then recognize that we are all one body, and we've just created this little game where we're forgetting that we are one thing. And but to wrap your head around that we are one with this wall, that we are one with the electricity that's running through this computer and all of that, that's a little more that's a little harder to buy into, right? It's harder to see uh, the tangibility of all of that. So let's just kind of leave that to the side, because just as everything is one thing, is God experiencing itself from every possible perspective, so too is that I have an identity. I have a singular separateness, although I recognize the universality, the collectiveness, the oneness of everything. I also recognize that it's a process where pieces and segmentation can occur, not too dissimilar to the organs in the body, uh, the heart, the lungs, stomach, skin, muscles, bone, etc., and all the myriad of other uh, uh, variations or pieces, parts of the human body. What that analogy does not allow for is, of course, your heart is not going to become your lung, and your stomach is not going to become your skin. Uh, so there's a little disconnect in that analogy in that regard, and I really can't answer that other than to say that this is what I believe, and in that belief has given me a level of comfort where I feel I have a very solid foundation for which I can then experience the world without all of the drama that once ensued in my life. And part of that has to do with, um, recognizing that my sole purpose as a human being is to choose a polarity, whether I'm going to be of service to others or I'm going to be of service to self. And then to what degree I am engaging in those activities. And the conversation we had yesterday, I had expounded that, or I didn't really expound on it. I had indicated that there's different levels of which you had to achieve in order to ascend to the next density. It's important to recognize that ascension is not just what's happening with me in this incarnation. It's all the many thousands of years of previous incarnations, and because we have had the veil, each and every time we come into incarnation, which the reason for the veil is so that we start with a clean slate. We start with a clean slate in the new paradigm of whatever it is we happen to exist and try to function in it. And in the functioning of the paradigm in which we are in existence, we make choices. The choices that we make determine whether or not we're positive polarized or mostly negative polarized. Ra kind of gives us a very specific level. It says that in order to ascend to fourth density positive, you only need to be 51% service to others, which means I can be 49% selfish. I can be 49% selfish as long as I'm 51% service to others throughout my entire life. I should be ready to ascend to fourth density positive. However, in order to ascend fourth density negative, I would have to be 96% service to self. And again, it's not just this incarnation, it's all my previous lives. So, however you might happen to feel about me, let's say you think I'm a lovely human being, and you perceive that I have lived my life generally in service to others, mostly, then one would argue that I would ascend. But really, it's about the previous lives, right? And we're just accumulating. We're accumulating a statistical level of 51% or 69 or 96%. If you're mostly selfish, but you're still not quite reaching the 96%, but you're not getting to 51% service to others, so you're not sufficiently positive. That causes the continuation of the cycle of reincarnation. That continues to generate more lives until you find that level, one or the other, in order to ascend to the next density. Who decides that? Who's making those judgments? Again, that's a discussion for the bigger picture kind of thing. I think that kind of gets into the seventh density level responsibility of structure and holding space so that the rest of self, the oneness of all that is, can experience life. And that too is also what death is about, right? Death is merely just termination of this existence and give you potential for where you can reach these thresholds so that you can move on. Well, let's say we've all moved on and now we're at level 7 and now we're the container holders. What's the growth there? What's the objective? How do you grow? How do you move on to the next octave? I don't have all the answers. I just have what's keeping me stable. So that's all I got. But then it just keeps cycling over, right? And so anything that you're not feeling like you're able to manage and handle in this incarnation, and let's say you choose to, off yourself about it, right? You just, okay, I had enough. I want to kill myself. You're just, in my perception, if I'm correct, you're just going to be coming back and dealing with that again, and again and again and again and again and again. There's no end to it. There's no getting off this ride because ultimately it is all one thing. There is only God. There is only God. And God is experiencing itself in every possible perspective, and there's nothing else. So you might as well just sit back and observe. Sit back and observe and try to be as harmonious with what shows up as you can muster. And that's the best answer I've got for you. And I have found that the easiest path to accepting what is giving up the want. Find a way to stop wanting. You stop wanting, and then what? Then what is it, right? And just sit with that thought for just a minute. Just think about, if I didn't want something, then what? What is there to do, to have, to be? There is only to do, to have, to be. And it's just acceptance of all of that. So that's all I've got for today. Hopefully, some of that will sink in, and hopefully, this sounds like a coherent thought. And we'll step back into this again tomorrow. All righty. Take care. Bye bye.